All right, what's happening, y'all? Just want to do a quick video. I was interested in this information, so I felt like I might as well make the video so anybody else who's curious, you don't have to go and do the research. I mean, it's not that hard. When I was looking it up, the Falcons basically put everybody into one page. It hurt my soul to have to use the Atlanta Falcons for anything useful and productive, but hey man, they organized it the best. So I've just been curious when a lot of these pro days are coming up that I really care about. Most notably like Trey Lance with North Dakota State and like Kadarius Toney of Florida and guys like that. So I'm gonna show y'all all of the schools pro days that are coming up and some of the notable names from those schools, especially at positions of need for the burgundy and gold. If you're from another team and can take something from this, then that's a win-win. Also, don't play by my boy Eric Stokes. Now, I seen that 4.28 he ran. You hear me? That boy done made him some money today. I'm big happy for my boy, man, for real. That might catapult them up to the first round, which sadly would make it far less likely that we get him. If he slid to the second, maybe my burgundy and gold would look at my Georgia boy, and that would be a match made in heaven for me, but I highly doubt it. I don't think he's making it, especially to the 19th pick of the second round. I don't think he's making it that far, especially after running a 4.28 now. He just made himself some big money. Tell you, that boy Stokes done showed out in the Brandon Marshall Pro Day, man. Shouts out to Brandon Marshall for even having that separate Pro Day. Really appreciate that. I love how Brandon Marshall's just involved with so many things too. Shouts out Brandon Marshall. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get to the list of prospects and their pro dates. Let's get it. Well, in case you missed it, Clemson had their pro day on February 12th. So that been happened, everything that happened with that. He had a really nice pro day. They had him doing all kinds of crazy stuff. Don't want to talk about him too much because there's like no way we're getting him. So best of luck to you. Trevor Lawrence is another Georgia boy. Didn't go to Georgia, but born and raised Georgia. So I support you at the NFL level, of course, man. I support your whole career. Then March 5th, Kansas had their pro day. Most notable prospect was running back Puka Williams. I don't feel like running back is as big of a need to go and get a guy anywhere before the 6th round. So, I mean, we saw how James Robinson was an undrafted free agent, was one of the best, arguably the best rookie running backs last season. And this happens time after time. So, no use of spending high draft picks for running backs unless you're about to get a game changer like a Derrick Henry type thing. And then March 9th, Kansas State has their pro day. Somebody we may look at, possibly A.J. Parker. We do have some sort of need for corner. In my ideal world, Kendall Fuller moves back to slot. Ronald Darby becomes cornerback number 2. And we end up drafting or signing a guy in free agency to be our number 1 corner. Freak athlete type of guy. Shut people down on an island type of guy. Don't exactly know if A.J. Parker is that guy either. Then March 10th, you have Arkansas and Wisconsin. You never know. Maybe quarterback Felipe Franks is a late round option. Safety Eric Burrell may also be on the table. Tackle Cole Van Lanen, maybe a possibility. And cornerback Rashad Wilgoose Jr., also an option, maybe later in the draft. Then March 11th, the real Clemson Pro Day. The other one was literally just Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence, I think, was supposed to go on March 11th, but he had to hurry it up because he had to get surgery on his shoulder, and he wanted to make sure he'd be ready for training camp for whatever team he gets drafted to. So March 11th is when the rest of the Clemson players have their pro day. And also Nevada has theirs too. I know some people feel like running back is a huge need. So there is Travis Etienne, but again, I don't feel like it's worth spending a pick higher than 6th round on running back. You also have tackle Jackson Carman. You have wide receiver Cornell Powell. Wide receiver Amari Rodgers, who a lot of us like, and guard Nate Brown. Those are all guys that Washington should be doing their due diligence on. Again, Travis Etienne probably the least out of all of them, but you never know. Then March 12th, boy, I'm excited. North Dakota State and Oklahoma's pro day. This is a big one. First of all, my boy quarterback Trey Lance. Very excited to see his pro day. Halfway hoping it's terrible so he can slide in the draft. Ain't even gonna hold you, but I don't know, man. It's hard for me to root against him because I really do feel like he's going to be a star in this league, whether it be for us or another team. I hope we don't miss out on that opportunity. Then you also have cornerback Trey Brown. You have tackle Adrian Ely. We don't need a center after Chase Roullier, but you never know. Creed Humphrey, maybe somebody to look at to potentially play guard. But he's going to go very high in the draft, so that more than likely won't happen. You also have safety Trey Norwood, and that pretty much rounds up March 12th's notable names. Then March 17th, you have Pittsburgh and Louisiana Monroe. You have safety Paris Ford, safety DeMar Hamlin, and that's about it as far as our needs go. The safeties out of that group. March 18th is pretty busy now. Auburn, Buffalo, Georgia Tech, Louisiana Tech, West Virginia. Shouts out Georgia Tech. You have linebacker KJ Britt. That's a big possibility. I mean, he was even in the chart that I did the video on Tuesday. You have wide receiver Anthony Schwartz. That's also a big possibility. Safety Jamian Sherwood. Wide receiver Seth Williams. Guard Donovan Campbell. Wide receiver Adrian Hardy. Linebacker Tony Fields. And wide receiver TJ Simmons. All of those people are guys we need to keep our eyes on. All guys that are positions of need and may last pretty far in this draft. May make it to day 3 and everything. So guys that we may end up picking up late in the draft or even as possibly undrafted free agents. Just some names to look out for. March 19th, you have Memphis, Ohio, and TCU. You have cornerback TJ Carter, wide receiver DeMonte Coxey. Hey man, kicker Riley Patterson. Hey, I don't want to draft a kicker though, but we do need to find somebody to compete with Dustin Hopkins. Safety Trevon Moehrig, linebacker Garrett Wallow, safety Ardarius Washington, and tight end Pro Wells. Then March 22nd, another relatively busy day. Colorado State, Florida State, Iowa, and Toledo. You have wide receiver Warren Jackson, my boy, safety Hamsad Nasiruddin. Man, if he can make it to the 3rd round, you sprint to the podium to get it. Well, it's going to be virtual. So, I mean, I guess you spam call from every phone you have in your house. Either way, you make it known like we're taking him right now. Don't even play about it. Then you also have outside linebacker Janarius Robinson, cornerback Asante Samuel Jr., tackle Alaric Jackson, wide receiver Brandon Smith, wide receiver Amir Smith Marset, and cornerback Samuel Womack. Oh, Womack, that's an interesting last name right there. Is there any relation? March 23rd, man. I mean, there's some back-to-back-to-back heaters because this day you have Alabama, Central Michigan, Iowa State, Nebraska, and Purdue. You have guard Deontay Brown, center Landon Dickerson. Again, I'm going to talk about centers just off of the fact that they could potentially move to a guard position if necessary. Tight end Miller Forrestall, for those of y'all who really want Najee Harris, even though I feel like running back isn't a big need at all. You have Najee Harris. Of course, quarterback Mac Jones, for those of y'all who like that guy. Tight end Alex Leatherwood. Linebacker Joshua McMillan. Linebacker Dylan Moses. That's crazy. 2 years ago, I would have sworn Dylan Moses was going to be like great. It just seemed like he was going to fall right in line of all of those great Alabama linebackers that were just coming out year after year after year. He's still a solid linebacker, but he didn't live up to the standards of what I expect out of Alabama linebackers coming out of the draft. I don't even think he's going in the 1st round. Then you have wide receiver Devonta Smith, cornerback Patrick Surtain, wide receiver Jalen Waddle, safety Lawrence White the 4th, guard Matt Farniok, tackle Brendan James, tight end Jack Stahl, linebacker Derek Barnes, and wide receiver Rondale Moore. Those are a lot of notable names that I'm pretty sure Washington are going to have their eyes on. They may even be present for that day. If I had to pick 3 days out of this entire list that I expect Ron Rivera and company or somebody from the Burgundy and Gold to be present for, I feel like this is one of those very key days. I feel like also the North Dakota State day is going to be a day just simply because of Trey Lance. But this one, as far as like positions of need all over the place and potential quarterback, even though I really hope we don't get him, this is going to be the day that somebody from this organization is there. Martin Mayhew, Marty Herney, Chris Polian, Ron Rivera, maybe all of them. We'll see. March 24th, you have Michigan State, Mississippi State, South Carolina, and Virginia. Here you have cornerback Shakur Brown, linebacker Antoine Simmons, quarterback KJ Costello, for those of y'all who like him, guard Greg Island, safety Marcus Murphy, linebacker Errol Thompson, cornerback JC Horn, linebacker Ernest Jones. Hold up, take it back to my boy JC Horn, man. I really rock with him. I feel like if he never got hurt, he'd probably be in the conversation of these 1st round corners. So that's a big eye to keep a name on. Then you have cornerback Israel Mukuamu, wide receiver Shai Smith, tight end Tony Polhan, and outside linebacker Charles Snowden. Again, a couple of names that are from the video from Tuesday that the Burgundy and Gold have already shown interest in, so take note. Watch out for that. Then March 25th, North Texas, Mississippi, Penn State, San Diego State, SMU, Massachusetts, and Western Michigan. Here you have wide receiver Jalen Darden, wide receiver Elijah Moore. I know a lot of y'all like him a lot. guard Royce Newman, tight end Kenny Yeboah. I know that's also somebody a lot of people like. Tight end Pat Freyermuth, another guy that a lot of people like. Guard Will Fries, center Michael Minette, linebacker Micah Parsons, that's the biggest name here, even though I feel like he's out of our range, but you never know. Safety Lamont Wade, safety Darren Hall, safety Dwayne Johnson Jr. Wait, is that a thing? How did I miss that? Is that real? Safety Tariq Thompson, quarterback Shane Bukel, tight end Kylan Granson, tackle Larnell Coleman, and wide receiver Dwayne Eskridge, another guy that a lot of y'all like. And I'm sorry if I'm butchering these names. Y'all already know every year I come out with the pronunciation video. And since I haven't come out with that yet, you already know I haven't done a deep dive into how to pronounce all of these names. But that video will come out before the draft. Y'all already know I do my pronunciation guide for a lot of the difficult draft names, or the ones that are, you know, a little ambiguous. You're not sure if it's this or that. So I will be coming out with that before the draft in upcoming weeks. March 26th, you have Boston College, BYU, Michigan, South Dakota State, and Virginia Tech. Yes, sir, because you have Zach Wilson this day. Another one of those guys I really want. Here you have tight end Hunter Long, linebacker Isaiah McDuffie. I can't help but say McDuffie like that without a New York accent. It just fits. Linebacker Max Richardson, tackle Brady Christensen, wide receiver Dax Milne, I hope. Quarterback Zach Wilson, yes sir. Wide receiver Nico Collins, a guy that a lot of y'all like. Tackle Jalen Mayfield, linebacker Cameron McGrone, cornerback Ambry Thomas, wide receiver Cade Johnson, tackle Christian Darrisaw, that's a big one. A lot of people feel like he's the best tackle in the draft over Penei Sewell. So safety Devon Diablo, and cornerback Caleb Farley. This is a big one. Caleb Farley's a guy where it's between Caleb Farley and Patrick Surtain, between a lot of people, who's the best corner in this class. There's also a few other names you got to discuss in there, but if you're just talking about the national media, the guys that are being hyped up the most, Caleb Farley, Patrick Surtain, guys to keep eyes on. March 26th is going to be a busy day. And then March 29th, another busy day. I mean, they just putting them all together. Duke, Louisiana, both the Miamis, Miami, Florida, and Miami, Ohio, and North Carolina. Here you have safety Michael Carter II, cornerback Mark Gilbert, tight end Noah Gray, one of those guys Washington's already shown a little interest in. Another kicker, tight end Brevin Jordan. That's a big name to watch. I don't believe Washington has shown any interest in him yet, but I know a lot of us in the fan base are interested in trying to pick him up. Tackle Tommy Doyle, center Danny G, cornerback Emmanuel Rugamba, wide receiver De'Ami Brown, wide receiver Daz Newsome, and linebacker Chaz Surratt. A lot of notable names there too, man. March 30th, you have Louisville. Shouts out to Rich, Tulane, and Washington. You have wide receiver Tutu Atwell, wide receiver Dez Fitzpatrick, cornerback Elijah Molden, cornerback Keith Taylor Jr., and outside linebacker Joe Tyron. March 31st, you have Boise State, Florida, Kentucky, and Notre Dame. This is another huge one. Tight end John Bates, safety John Davis, wide receiver Trayvon Grimes, tight end Kyle Pitts, wide receiver Kadarius Toney, quarterback Kyle Trask, cornerback Marco Wilson, linebacker Jamin Davis, cornerback Brandon Eccles, safety Drake Jackson, cornerback Kelvin Joseph, tackle Landon Young, guard Aaron Banks, Liam Eckenberg, quarterback Ian Book, tackle Robert Hainsey, linebacker J.O.K., one of the guys I really like, wide receiver Ben Skowronek, and tight end Tommy Trimble. This March 31st and March 23rd are easily the two biggest days we have to be there. My preference, I hope North Dakota State's pro day with Trey Lance is also in the top 3. But these are undeniable, very important days for us. March 23rd and March 31st. Go ahead and write that down in your calendars, because those are big days. I may live stream those days, how important those days are. We'll see when we get there. I might live stream those days. I'm not going to lie. And then the last 2 days, you have April 1st, April Fool's Day. You have Charlotte, Oklahoma State, South Florida. Then you have safety Ben DeLuca, linebacker Calvin Bundage, tackle Tevin Jenkins, linebacker Eamon O, wide receiver Tylen Wallace, cornerback Rodarius Williams, and cornerback KJ Sales. Then April 9th, sadly the last day of all of the fun, you have Houston and UAB. Key prospects, of course, wide receiver Marquez Stevenson, somebody that the Burgundy and Gold are already interested in. Linebacker Grant Stewart, outside linebacker Jordan Smith, and wide receiver Austin Watkins. But yeah, man, that's the end of this video. Just wanted to show y'all some of the pro days. I'm very excited. Again, I may live stream some of these, especially the important ones, like March 12th. That's my favorite one. Even though the Alabama Pro Day and the Florida Pro Day provide the most talent for us to look at in totality, but March 12th is my favorite day. I gotta watch the Trey Lance Pro Day. May live stream during that. May critique him on the spot live. If he's making mistakes, I'm gonna call him out for it. If he's playing well, I'm gonna address that too. Again, I don't know how to feel about this. I don't know if I want him to just go crazy or if I want him to just completely just like go out there and lay it. I don't know, man. I don't want to wish bad on him though, but I really want my boy Trey Lance. Y'all already know how I feel about him. But yeah, man, that's the end of this video. Definitely mark some of these dates down in y'all calendars. Again, I plan on live streaming for at least a couple of these because there's some big names out there and I'm very excited, especially the guys that Washington has already shown interest in. You can check that list in my previous video from Tuesday, and I saw that a lot of y'all did want the PDF file of that so y'all can access it, and I saw some people wanted me to do a free agency version of that, so stay tuned for all of that. I will post that PDF for y'all to access, and I will be adding to it over time. And then I also plan on doing a free agency version. It's going to be a little bit more difficult to gather all of the guys that we may be interested in, but we'll see. But as always, man, please like this video if you liked it. If you learned anything, please subscribe if you haven't. Definitely hit the bell next to the subscription button so you get a notification every time I release a video like this one, every time I live stream, every time I release one of my 5 mock drafts, every time I release one of my film sessions. As always, man, I really appreciate all of the support. Everybody that pulls up to every video and live stream and likes, everybody leaving comments, whether we agree or disagree. I just really appreciate the interaction. And as always, man, I really appreciate all of my sponsors, everybody that donates to the channel, but especially my Pro Bowl sponsors whose names you see scrolling on the screen right now. I really appreciate all y'all. This video ended up going a little bit longer than I expected. I ain't even gonna lie. But I'll catch y'all later. I'm out.